Joseph, right? This is his bread and butter right here. He should be able to avoid some of the CCs coming out of Glaive and whoever else is picked up right here. He's usually able to dodge a lot out. Lance comes through as well. And, you know, if we do see this cooldown Glaive build, Taka's going to run wild through the first half of the game.
Yeah, absolutely. And it'll be interesting to see what build Taka goes for, because we see Taka go for the Storm Crown very frequently, sometimes with the Aftershock, sometimes a Tension Bow.
Yeah.
I feel like it's going to be the Aftershock because of the Ringo.
Yeah. If TeamSoloMid pick up Arden here, who do you think wins the draft? I think TeamSoloMid with an Arden pickup would win the draft here.
It would be very close, but I would... Oh, that is not an Arden.
Going on anymore. I'm done.
So that's Von
Cutest
C's
Arden
pedal.
I've ever seen.
So that's going to be Von C's pedal, I would have to assume.
So Flash is on the Glaive?
Most likely.
I mean, we have seen a Captain Vox.
I give TSM the draft win.
That was in...
and
That's in Challengers.
the game.
I don't know if that really counts.
Has been talked about how its utility can actually work, you know, significantly well in a team fight. A lot of peel potential with the Glaive Afterburn. Remember, kind of just build a lot of cooldown reduction, get that Afterburn off cooldown as quickly as possible. And here we go, already starting up here with Gabe Vizzle and Von C.
Pretty big. Joseph jumps into a little rice box, but is not going to be able to do too much damage. Flash X is just going to Afterburn in. He knocks Joseph against the wall. Best Chuck and A has joined them down near this Elder Treant. Dave Vizzle is doing a lot of work to protect Joseph here, and they will just be able to back off, and already early aggression. And can you really blame Joseph for that?
Well, no, I mean, like, he wanted to put some pressure down, but unfortunately with the way that the lane was positioned, there was no way they were going to get away with it, because Best Chicken Egg could make a very easy rotation down. And now, actually, there's a lot of pressure. Flash X still doing a decent amount of damage in the early game with that Afterburn. And Von C, it's very difficult for Attacker to be a nuisance to a Petal because of the Munions. The Munions do make it kind of hard. Although Gabe Vizzle and people say that Lance classically is a decent counter to the Petal, it's still, you know, fairly difficult early on with no weapon power behind you to deal with those Munions effectively. So I think it's going to be fairly easy for Von C to feel pretty safe in this early game, and that's probably one of the main things here. Von C is going to want to try and feel as safe as possible against the aggression that Taka can pull out. And I think as this game progresses, the sights are going to firmly move away from Von C for I Love Joseph, and he's going to become a real bane for Best Chuck NA.
Yeah, most definitely. And Best Chuck NA is going to kind of have the carry boots on, already playing fairly aggressive against Old School, but Gabe Vizzle has been able to kind of deter him a little bit. Now, tell me one thing. That skin from I Love Joseph, doesn't the katanas look like lightsabers, right? It's not just me.
I kind of feel like that's the point, though.
Yeah, same. I just think that, like, maybe that's actually the point, but yeah, that skin is easily the best Taka skin because he goes into a little like takeaway rice box as well. It's awesome.
Yeah, I think this Taka skin's amazing, but I Love Joseph now got the.
Oh, hang on a minute. Get the Immortal and into the Impale onto the Battle. Von C taking a lot of damage. Stealth coming up from Joseph. He knows the limits of this hero, but maybe too much so. Best Chunkade is going to come down. Blinking health bars from Cloud9. Joseph's going to go really low. Almost going to go down. One more Munion hit will do it. Von C picks up the kill, and Old School is going to go down as well. Von C picking up a double kill this early on a Petal, no less. Actually, wait a second. Gabe Vizzle, is he going to get out? I think he is. Von C, this is going to be a very, very easy early game for him.
Yeah, and that's exactly the kind of start that you want as a Petal versus Attacker. Excellent, excellent pressure being put out by him there. I've got to hang question as to, Taka is great at being aggressive, but against Petal it is difficult. You have so many damage sources to worry about. You don't have the ability to take out those Munions very effectively. And one of the major worries that I have is I Love Joseph realistically probably wanted to stay even, or if not slightly ahead, to when he gets to level 6, where we know that I Love Joseph can make some serious magic happen with this Taka. And I think you need level 6 to, you know, effectively pressure a Petal easily. TSM Flash X does manage to get away with the Afterburn. But now that he's behind, it might be even more difficult for him to do so. He's actually going to be roaming with the team right now to be as aggressive as possible.
Yeah, exactly that. He just needs someone else to kind of help him engage, and that's definitely what Gabe Bizzle is all about. Double fountain, not double fountain. Well, 2 fountains are picked up. Flash X is going to pick up his, Gabe Bizzle's as well. So nice little power spike around the 4-minute 45-second mark. Not too bad whatsoever. But doesn't like TSM are just inching ahead in gold at the moment. 1,000 gold. They always just seem to be kind of pushing the boundary of that gold. And I want to know why.
Well,
Why do they have gold?
why do they have gold? You're asking me why TSM have gold.
Out farming them.
It might be because they've got 2 kills. It might be because they farm well.
Yeah.
It might be because this is happening.
Well, Old School's jumping in. Well, not jumping in. He's getting jumped on, and that will be another kill going over. Best Chuckane is going to pick up that one. I love Joseph not being able to do much. Gabe Bizzle as well, taking a lot of damage. He's going to have to back off there. Sorry, Blade. Should we clip that one?
I'm going to remember that forever, George.
Yeah.
Why did TSM have gold?
Oh, boy.
Well, you know, they got some kills, Jaws.
I
did
think
some farming.
I think the more accurate question would have been, why have they got such a gold lead already, despite the 2 kills? Oh boy, Joseph. Oh god, he's dead. All right,
great reposition there by Flash X, and obviously Von C now level 6 has those exploding munions to deal damage and heal his teammates. Also picked up the Frostbird as well, so against the immobile targets of Ringo, against Taco, that's going to effectively slow him down to no end. That's a really good item for Von C to have hit this early into the game. It's going to make I Love Joseph's job a lot harder, especially as I Love Joseph now has the Storm Crown. Realistically, Storm Crown is great, but it's meant for a CP Tacker to help you farm the jungle a little bit more effectively, get some cooldowns early on. Obviously, the Chitin stacks do end up, the key stacks do end up staying up a little bit longer this update. So update 2.2, I believe, extended the Tacker key stacks by 1 second, so you get the extra cooldown reduction for a little bit longer. But realistically, I don't think we're going to see I Love Joseph pop off entirely until he picks up his next CP item. And I don't know whether he's going to want to build an Aftershock. Usually you do want to build Aftershocks. Usually you go kind of an on-hit build with this Storm Crown, but I think against a Petal and I think against a Vox, maybe going straight up down a more burst-orientated build path would be fairly effective. You know, building a Shatterglass, for instance, might be more effective here because you might want the straight-up burst. I think you're potentially missing the Aftershock, I guess, power spike, Jaws.
Yeah, we'll see if he can make up for that one. Now, a question: is it up or down? Did they go up, down? I have to get you back for something. Come on. Von C is going to get jumped on. Hellfire Brew coming out. Just lands straight on the pedal.
Comment.
No comment. Oh, cheers. All right, no worries. Leave me high and dry. TSM. I'm going to be aggressed on a little bit. Cloud9. So aggressive, but yet again, they are behind.
Yeah, I mean, again, that's just, been the fact that because TSM pulled off that really nice early tower dive. Obviously, they've been farming. Von C's now got 38 farms, so still a little bit ahead of I Love Joseph. Actually, Old School slightly ahead of Best Chuck and A, but not by much. So most of the kills, most of the gold coming through the kills that they've accrued here. They haven't got any global objectives to note just yet. The gold mine has stacked up nearly to full capacity. We are still waiting for that first turret to go down. And the first turret for C9 is actually very, very healthy right now. So all of that gold mainly coming through the early kills that TSM have managed to get for themselves. And I think potentially from some over-aggression from especially I Love Joseph early on, kind of punished C9. It's kind of delayed Tacker's potential build. He is going to go towards the Aftershock build. So picking up the chronograph there is going to go towards the Aftershock. It's still very, very decent, still a great item, but I don't know whether strictly a burst orientated build might have been better because you've got 2 squishy targets. Just my personal opinion.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see if it does actually play into effect, because, yeah, he is a little bit behind at the moment. You can see TSM just invading the jungle again. Joseph, you're going to have to be careful, does end up backing off, no problem. And TSM, I think they've got kind of free reign over this gold mine now. Just like they want to start it up, they're kind of positioning around it. And like you said, it is more than full, so that'll be 300 each. And Cloud9, they just can't really aggress on this at all. And it's just going to get taken up here by TSM, just extending their lead.
Yeah, and also with the munions, with how far ahead Von C is, he's got the piercing shard, he's got the heavy prism on top of the frostburn. That gets shredded very quickly. It's almost like having a weapon powered jewel on board, just absolutely rips through that global objective. I think you're going to be waiting to play around power spikes right now. For I Love Joseph's going to want to get to that Aftershock. Maybe he can then look to fight after that. He's got an infusion, by the way, Jaws. Your favorite time for infusions has been hit, that 9-minute mark. So he's maybe going to be looking to proc that, finish the aftershock, I guess, and then use that in a fight and maybe try and gripe back some of this disadvantage that they've had.
Yeah, just try and detonate Best Chuck in the back line, I think, is going to be his port of call, but we'll have to wait and see. Tyrant's Monocle and Breaking Point, obviously, on Best Chuck right now. He's making his way there to the double Monocle build.
Yeah.
TSM, they're waiting for it. They know that C9 have been also aggressive. Flash X coming in. Gapers was going to have to back off, and Old School's just had a bit of a rough time in this lane.
Yeah, Old School's definitely not struggled in terms of farm, but has definitely been on the receiving end of a lot of this late reflex block.
Yeah, late reflex block is going to result in his death. Von C picking up another kill. Joseph's going to jump in, though, but against 3 members. He did pop the infusion, however, he's scoundrel, so he got a little bit extra damage, but TSM, they're just playing so aggro, and Cloud9 just cannot seem to deal with it. Von C, that damage is just not even fair, is it? Retsu does jump in, however, he's going to be able to pick up the kill. I didn't think he was going to get that one. Retsu doing so much work there, and Joseph is going to be able to stealth away in that little rice box. Will he be able to go for a Flash X? No, he will not. Does trade up a kill and dissuade TSM as well.
Yeah, he knows his limits. He's not going to push too far. Picking up 1, even though the minions did the killing blow for him, picking up 1 is more than enough for Cloud9. Gets a little bit of recuperation gold here, limits that gold flow, and also saves the turret. More importantly, saving that turret was the key objective there, because taking out Best Chuck meant they didn't have insane tower pushing potential, even though Von C obviously very, very good at taking the neutral objectives. But you're right, Von C's damage, he's got the double power spike now, he's got the big item spike of the Broken Myth. It isn't fair, Jaws. I completely agree. Petal is broken.
Too broken. And again, there's just so many heroes right now that just seem ban-worthy. We've seen obviously a lot of Lyra bans, Adagio bans, and is Petal one of those bans that we have to kind of consider as well?
I don't know. There are ways to counter Petal. I often ban Petal in solo queue because I absolutely hate her and I'm really bad at playing against her, but a lot of people do think there are ways to play against Petal. A lot of people say that Lance is pretty decent into her, especially if you can land any form of hard CC. Petal is a very squishy hero. So, you know, had I Love Joseph been a little bit more burst orientated, that actually makes Petal an easier target for him, because if he can get a huge burst with the Retsu and Kaiten and then follow that up maybe with a Hellfire Brew from Old School, you know, that's pretty solid. I actually wouldn't have minded us. I know Tasty Bacon will hate me for this. I actually wouldn't have minded a CP Ringo here against double squishy. I genuinely think a CP Ringo and then a weapon power attacker with that tension bow on hit instead could have been really good. It means landing that your burst is a little bit more easily accessible. Even if you have one of it reflex block, it's a huge amount of damage to put through with the Hellfire Brew. So I wouldn't have minded the CP Ringo instead, and then had I Love Joseph going down the weapon power tension bow on hit build potentially. Again, you know, that ifs and buts at the moment, that, you know, C9 have got to make use of what they've got. And Old School now working towards his Tyrant's Monocle. Once he hits that, he will have a decent amount of burst damage coming through.
Yeah, and we'll see if he can make use of that. Just hitting those key item spikes is going to be the catalyst for them, I think, to engage TSM. The gold miner was started, by the way, but it did look like Cloud9 just wanted none of it as soon as TSM kind of showed up. However, now making one of their first 3-man pushes into TSM's jungle, does decide to just go towards the mustache bush and just back off. I mean, can they really fight? Beautiful Githium wall by Gabe Bizzle there. Wow, 3-man almost.
Oh, Old School, he is, wow.
Woo. Oh, maybe not. Oh, see you later. No, Flash X is going to get jumped on, though. That's a really nice re-engage here. Old School, look at him. He's just getting free damage in the backline. Von C's going to go down. Old School's going to be able to pick up the kill. Flash X still really, really low. Best Chuck and A's not going to be able to do anything, but they still managed to clean up Old School. How Best Chuck and A got that, I've got no clue. Resonance, I think, managed to secure that kill for him. But 1-for-1 trade. TSM and Cloud9, they can't really do anything off the back of this, it seems.
Oh, I really like the idea behind what C9 tried to do there. You know, they basically tried to rush Von C. One of the best ways to deal with a Petal is just straight up burst her with instantaneous gap closing, which you saw I Love Joseph do. He got a 3-man Titan, I think. It was really good damage, but if you focus the Petal and you leave the Vox, I think he got a huge amount of breaking point stacks there, Jaws. So then he was just starting to rip through people. Actually, the only reason that I Love Joseph survived, we've got another fight though.
Oh boy, Flash X is going to get jumped on, try to steal the gold miner, might pay for it with his life. However, Joseph's going to have to be careful. That resonance bounce might just kill him. He survives with an inch of HP again. How did that not kill him? Old School is going to come through. He's going to pop the reflex box just for the shield. Doesn't manage to get out alive. How did Joseph not die?
Well, I'll tell you how they all didn't die. Gabe Vizzle with a great Githyu wall to knock a Munyon away right at the end meant that they were able to escape with a sliver of HP. I love Joseph. Resonance bounces don't do a huge amount of damage in the weapon power form. Even though you max it, obviously, even though you overdrive it, they don't do like rip-roaring damage like the CP Vox build does. So, you know, somehow right at the end there, the final resonance bounce wasn't quite enough to finish I Love Joseph off. Great Kaku, by the way, actually dodged the silence damage coming out from Wait For It as well. So it's just basically Joseph with his happy feet on, then kind of dodging as much as he could. Really close affair between these two teams. C9 actually have brought this gold differential back to just over 1,000. They've done a really good job of catching up here, but you've got to say TSM looking scary in these team fights.
Yeah, they really are. Just as soon as Flash X engages, no matter who it is, it seems, he manages to knock back with the afterburn. Like, they're going to go down. Hellfire Brew does come out, lands on Best Chuck. Does use the reflex block, however. Takes a little bit of damage still, but still going to be able to get that away. And, wow. Double Aegis Spy as well for the side of TSM. They're ready for a fight. They're ready for it indeed. Old School gets knocked in straight to the turret. Gabe Vizzle's in the front lines. Going to have to boot this away. X-Retsu back on the back line though. Joseph is in a lot of trouble. Put himself completely out of position. Ends up getting taken down by Best Chuck and A. They're just going to follow this one up. Old School just popping the reflex block in time. Double kill comes through for Best Chuck. The turret goes down as well. And TSM still yet again on the front foot.
And finally get the first structure of the game. They get that first turret at 16 minutes and then follow up with the Kraken as well. TSM looking really good. Yeah, you're right. I Love Joseph really put himself out of position there. I think the idea was to put pressure onto Best Chuck and A on Von C, but they dialed back really well. And Flash X was just able to deal with both Old School and Gabe Vizzle in the front line by himself, and then get out after they dealt with the threat of I Love Joseph. Once I Love Joseph is down, realistically, Von C has absolutely nothing to worry about because he's got that Frostburn. It's going to be very hard for Ringo to actually get within range to land damage. So, you know, once I Love Joseph is dead, there isn't too many worries for TSM, and I think that'll be their main target. Flash X, obviously, you can see investing into huge amounts of scout traps, huge amounts of flares. He just wants to make sure he keeps eyes on I Love Joseph at all times.
Yeah, you got to make sure he doesn't get on your back line, and the Kraken obviously has been unleashed. TSM knocking on the base doors of Cloud9. A turret does fall. It does look like they might just want to leave this one though. However, re-engaging. Joseph is going to get taken a little bit lower. Gabe Vizzle comes in with the double root. Best Chuck and A's going really low here. Joseph's going to come in. Will he be able to get the kill? I'm not sure he will. Flash X still deterring him, and Von C on the sidelines as well does manage to get the healing from the Munions. Doesn't make it a kill going over to Cloud9. They do, however, get dissuaded. They are going to be able to take out the Kraken just before that turret goes down. And really nice engagement there from Cloud9. They do, however, sacrifice a turret.
One turret, though, for Kraken is great. That's a trade I would take every day. You get 500, they get 300. Pure math says that you win. But obviously, with Kraken being off the board, it does basically make it harder for you to push in. So all C9 have done here is given themselves more time to find a team fight that suits them to be able to then capitalize off the back of a good team fight and try and pressure TSM. TSM, I think, were lucky to escape there, but realistically, I still feel like they are in control of this game. I know Joseph's gone for the Atlas Pauldrons now, so I think you can expect that his ex-Retsu target is more likely to be Best Chuck NA than it is to be Von C, because he's going to want to land the Atlas Pauldrons. He's going to want to slow the breaking point stack of Best Chuck NA. Look at this, though. This could be a big showdown.
Double Death Bush. Yep, TSM, they're going to back off, though. Cloud9. They are going to send out the Hellfire Brew. Is going to land on Best Chuck. Yet again, just being reflex box, not a problem. And that was almost very, very scary for either team. Luckily, Gabe Vizzle had it in his head. He sent out a flare just to make sure he knew where TSM was. There's always the scary moment at this point in the game. 18 minutes. It's late game for sure right now. If you run into a very, very tanky Flash X, your carries are going to get afterburned.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, Flash X actually hasn't got that much cooldown reduction. He's sitting at, I think, almost zero. I think he's sitting at 0. cooldown reduction. So just relying on the basic cooldowns coming out from the afterburn right there. But like you said, he is very tanky. He's all there for mobility. He's all there for just trying to be a disruption to the enemy team. So one afterburn is likely to be the big player in this team fight, and then he's going to be basically using the war treads to allow his team to reposition more effectively, because it's only tier 1 boots on Von C. So he's really not got a huge amount of movement speed.
Whoa, that was a beautiful Githium on Flash X after burned in. Githium walled away. Does it look like Joseph wants to look for something here? The not flashing health bars just yet from TSM. Wait for it, does come out from Beschukane. I'm kind of curious to see what they're going to do here. Gabe is taking a little bit of damage. Hellfire Brew comes out. Joseph is going to jump in. TSM half HP bars now. It is all Cloud9's game to take. They are going to jump straight on top of literally everybody. Flash X is going to jump away though, and that is going to be... I got really excited. I didn't know what's going to happen, but Flash X gets away. And Cloud9, they're going to back off. However, Kraken on the board.
I Love Joseph does what we kind of expect I Love Joseph to do from time to time, kind of focuses in on trying to pick up a kill onto a target that isn't necessarily of great importance, but they did so much damage that they've been able to give free time to this Kraken, and with that Storm Crown on I Love Joseph, that's going to go down very quickly. Beschukane is going to be doing himself. I Love Joseph takes so much damage!
Oh my goodness, that was so close. I don't know how he didn't go down there. The Kraken is going to get unleashed, but already TSM are damaging it. This could be a little bit of a problem for Cloud9. They do need to kind of retaliate here, and that's exactly what I Love Joseph wants to do. He's jumping onto Von C, but Flash X is in the back line, and Gabe Fizzle is going to go really low here. Old School can't really do anything at all. He just gets chased down, gunned down by Beschukane. Gabe Fizzle, he gets afterburned straight into the wall, and Beschukane is going to be able to follow that kill up. This might be the first turret for Cloud9, but TSM, they're going to be able to kill this Kraken almost for free.
Yeah, they can't actually fully end the game because unfortunately off the back of that team fight, they still had to deal with the Kraken. But I don't know whether C9 had to do that. I think, do you know what, taking the Kraken at this point in the game, although you really want to capitalize on it, although you really want to search for some sort of siege, I actually think at this point, given how low you were, all you've done is stop TSM winning the game. And I think for Cloud9, that's great. Stopping TSM winning the game is better than TSM, you know, killing you and acing you after even if getting Kraken, then just racing your base down, especially at 21 minutes into the game. So if I was C9, I would have been happy to say, okay, we got Kraken. Yeah, okay, TSM might take it. They might get a big amount of chunk of gold from killing it. But what we have done is stop them from having something that can run down and completely crush us if they ended up picking it up themselves. So in that sense, it was a mini win for C9 because it meant that they didn't lose the game. But they end up just trying to fight around it on low HP bars, and unfortunately, you know, you need to be on exactly level HP heading into a full-on brawl at this stage in the game, otherwise you're just going to lose.
Yeah, and that's exactly what TSM kind of looked to do in that last fight, right? They just kind of poked out with Beschukanae's damage, obviously Von C's as well, and then they just kind of re-engaged and killed the rest of Cloud9 off. And Excalibur, we got to remember, that tier 3 turret is at like no HP. That's going to be a couple of seconds for Beschukanae or Von C to take down, and that's so scary for Cloud9.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly it, because if Cloud9 make one wrong move right now, even if they get Kraken, TSM with this Vox are going to be able to rush down that base. They're going to be able to take every single turret left standing, and then eventually the Vein Crystal as well. So I think, you know, this is why Cloud9 are playing this very, very carefully. Old School as well is probably going to be getting out damaged at this point in time, especially as the team fights extend on. This item build on Vox just makes it very difficult to keep up with him as team fights progress. So Old School's going to have to be very careful. Here comes the Hellfire Brew.
Hellfire Brew does come out, lands onto Von C. That's about a third of his HP down. Joseph's going to jump in, though, continuing the pursuit. Gabe Fizzle's going to jump in as well. Flash X says Githium. However, this is the damage we were talking about. There goes Old School. Can he actually be a meaningful force in this fight? It looks like he can, but Beschukanae is going to pick up one kill. No! What is happening? TSM, they pick up a double kill and an ace. This could be it. That turret's on no HP, Scoundrel. They could have just ended the game.
They are going to end the game right now, and unfortunately, that was just a sad story of the fact that TSM just have more damage. They've got a 3-item spike Vox, the Breaking Point double Tyrant's Monocle out damages Ringo with just the 3 damage items. They've got Von C, who picked up the Eve of Harvest, going up against just a Storm Crown Aftershock Taka. What are you expecting to kill in the late game with just a Storm Crown and Aftershock? I can guarantee you it's not very much, especially against someone like Flash X who controls vision so well.